Welcome back, YouTubers, to another TNA Impact Wrestling review with us, the British Fist. Peekaboo, I see you. It's Mr. Parkin here with the red shirt, and this guy sitting next to me with a hoodie on. Don't usually see that on the videos. It's none other than NJ, people.
What's up?
Indeed, I was waiting for you to say that. I was thinking, oh my god, he's miming. Should I maybe fill in for him? But anyway, subscribe above, like this video, and comment any thoughts you have on this TNA Impact Wrestling show down in that comment section below.
What's my line?
You should know your line by now.
Make sure you contact us in the next box below.
I was going to say, don't botch it, because that would be really embarrassing. We'd probably have to do a retake, but there we go. So yeah, so this was the post-Bound for Glory Impact show, and I guess if you guys remember last year's epic post-Bound for Glory show, you'll remember I went totally mental in that review. Well, unfortunately for you people that love seeing me go mental, this isn't going to be happening in this week's show's review, because it wasn't that bad. Should we go right into the opener?
We should do.
The AcesAnd8s opened the show, as advertised on Spike TV's Twitter. They come and they're in the middle of the ring. They have full access now. They made a toast to Devon, the new member, and he comes out to join the AcesAnd8s in the ring, saying well, pretty much Devon was in full heel mode in this one, wasn't he? He talks about the AcesAnd8s having his back since day one, and the group will destroy TNA, and this is payback for Bully Ray.
The thing I liked about this was, number one, you see AcesAnd8s all lined up in the ring, just like the Nexus would. Then on the times when you see more AcesAnd8s members, it's like a big 10, 12 big faction here. So I look forward to seeing who these actually are whenever it decides to happen, which shouldn't have that Bound for Glory or anything similar to that for Bound for Glory, apart from Devon. The Devon thing felt a bit special the way they presented him. He comes out on his own, so with this group. He gets represented as someone special in their group. And then he goes on mentioning why his part in the AcesAnd8s and how important they are to him, how they lifted him up from down here, up here. It came a bit too much for Devon's part. It's like, you're someone really special to us, welcome to our group. But overall, the fact that Devon is representing what he's going to be doing, it felt needed, especially after his reveal at Bound for Glory.
Yeah, I guess they do need to kind of make him feel at least a little bit special, because he did actually help them get full access to the Impact Zone. So it's funny, like you said, that they got him from down there to up there. Well, in this week's show, it was main eventing Impact, because then you had Sting and Bully Ray coming out with backup before Devon could explain really why he joined the group. And the TNA roster and the AcesAnd8s brawl, and they cut to commercial, really decreasing the effectiveness of that brawl, in my opinion. And then after commercial, we get Hulk Hogan saying that when Devon can get his ass in the ring, or he can get his ass out for good. Apparently, Hogan can kick him out, even though they never did that before. But the bottom line is, Devon and Sting is our main event. This is what I mean about going from there to main eventing Impact. Devon versus Sting was our main event of the post-Bound for Glory Impact.
Bit of a big jump from Robbie E, Robbie T up to Sting. Ooh. Wow, Devon. The thing about this is that Hogan did make a good point. Now you're part of the roster. We have control over you now, and this is how things are going to go. I enjoyed that, but then Devon says, if this doesn't happen, we're going to be waiting in the parking lot. Yeah, let Hogan and Sting know what your plan is so they can prevent you from doing it. Yeah, but overall, we got a main event. We got Devon's why with the part of the AcesAnd8s. So the open did its job.
I'll tell you what, it wasn't a 45-minute promo, so that's good enough for me. Yeah, anyway.
At Bound for Glory, the biggest pay-per-view of the year, you send us Devon, the guy who was so close to losing to a worthless mortal like Sting. What pathetic, worthless mortal is that? Well, from this point on, Devon better prove to us that he can take care of business and be up to the standards of the AcesAnd8s. Well, if he doesn't, we'll take care of him.
So this next Thursday, it's going to be Champions Thursday, not Open Fight Night.
That's the thing. Thursday. They've gone from Open Fight Night, which was a good concept, even though it did affect the build going to the pay-per-view, and now they're adding in this Championship Night. It's like they could have so many ideas and just trying to find out which one worked, and I was happy with the Open Fight Night, but let's see how this goes.
Yeah, I wonder if they are replacing Open Fight Night. Maybe they've realised it's not as much of a ratings draw as they thought, and now they're doing Championship Thursday. I just wonder what they're doing with that. Apparently, we're going to get Storm, Anderson, and Bully Ray as free picks to go after the World Heavyweight Championship. The fourth one will be picked in AJ, Angle, and Daniels in a triple threat for the fourth spot on Champions Thursday later tonight.
Okay, my quick concept is, I've got a question and something I want to say. With this Championship Thursday, Storm, yes, he was match at the pay-per-view, so you can see why they may think he's worthy of this match, even though he won a contendership match. Anderson, why? Buddy Ray, he lost his match at the pay-per-view. Why is he getting his match? So, in a way, this match is just quickly thrown in there. They had this one number one contender, which was okay. But the other question is, what would you prefer? Open Fight Night or this Championship Thursday?
It's a good question. Good question. You comment your thoughts in the comment section below. We also found out we're going to get Tara and Teschmacher for the Knockouts title next week as well on Champions Thursday, so we look forward to that rematch.
I do look forward to it. I was going to save this for the overall thoughts, but I'm going to say it now. With some of these possible, after the pay-per-view, we've got about 4 title rematches, which could be built up to the pay-per-view. But instead of thinking, right, we've built up 4 matches that we can have at the pay-per-view, that's going to help us build up between now and the next pay-per-view. But instead, we get all these pay-per-view matches on free TV just because this concept. I don't really agree with that.
No, we're only having one, but and obviously the World Championship match as well. But we go on to the next segment. Samoa Joe versus Robbie E for the TNA TV title. And all I can say about this is I do not care about Robbie E. The fact of the matter is, at least the segment was booked very well in the sense that Joe just ran through Robbie E and Robbie T, and it ended very quickly because I did not want to see Robbie E. And he didn't get any offense in on Joe, thank fuck.
I really do agree with the booking about how quickly it went. The only thing I did not agree with or like, Robbie E is the one going for the TV title again. Where did he get this contendership match from? So even though it was booked right for Samoa Joe, I still question why you always using Robbie E towards the TV title.
And I guess he was used as a jobber, I don't really know. But and also, where was Magnus? Are they not going to try and continue this feud on, which had no build before, and maybe try and build it into Turning Point? I don't know. I just thought this was a segment where Magnus could have come in, or why not even, if you don't want to throw Robbie E in there, just have a promo segment between the two. I don't know. We go on to the Knockouts match next. Tara versus ODB. Be interesting to see where they go with the TV title and also now with the Knockouts title after this match, because you're sitting there wondering, why does ODB have the Knockouts titles? And thank God no Eric Young in this segment. But then ODB beats Tara. Now you're wondering, are they going to move on to ODB after Teschmacher next week or something?
ODB, I did agree with this a lot because she's a good knockout to go up against. She has a fan base behind her, and she's someone that I think should be away from the knockout tag trials and more into this part. No, Eric Young is hopefully teasing a breakup. This match, I was surprised that ODB got the win, but I'm putting the full blame on Tara's stupid boyfriend.
Jesse Goddard, I must admit, I'd love to be in this position. He got motorboated by ODB. What a great moment that was. But yeah, the Jesse Goddard thing really isn't working out for Tara so far. She lost her first match. And to be honest, I don't see why they made Tara lose her first match as Knockouts champion. To me, that's a little bit ridiculous. TNA booking FTW, I guess.
This is also because of Tess was on the ramp applauding the loss that Tara just had.
Yes, Gunnar and Kid Kash versus Chavo and Hernandez was next. Take a match from, I believe it was No Surrender or something like that. And, you know, it was like a match that, I guess you could say, it's one of those like post-Bound for Glory matches that kind of establishes them as the champions. And the match itself was about 5 minutes. It looked like Hernandez kind of forgot about tagging Chavo in at the end. They were supposed to have the splash finish, but they kind of had to do an audible there.
It was a bit of a, not the best match I've seen, but I will say that Kid Kash and Gunnar did play the strong heels, just attacking crazy, teaming up and that. But the match did not feel like a great tag match, but it did its job by giving the faces the win over a pointless tag.
Yeah, and they kind of had a backstage segment with Daniels and Kaz saying that they're going to have their rematch at some point. So I'm guessing they're going to have a rematch at the pay-per-view. This was there to just establish, you know, that they're a strong tag team champions and stuff by beating a jobber tag team essentially. We'll move into the 1 hour main event segment. It's funny how Jeff Hardy versus Austin Aries main events the pay-per-view, but then gets the hour main event. It just goes to show it's not just Austin Aries that gets put behind the AcesAnd8s angle. It's Jeff Hardy as well.
And that's a bit of a surprise that you've got a big thing like a celebration. Yeah, there was no big cliffhanger or something big at the end of this, apart from a tease of a rematch. But I can see why this didn't get the finishing compared to the main event.
Yeah, I mean, I like this segment between the two. It's interesting also that when Jeff Hardy came out, there was a stark contrast from the reaction at the pay-per-view, and they actually brought this up in a segment. There was still a couple of boos out there, and they had all the confetti coming down, so yeah, that's a nice celebration there. And this promo segment between Austin Aries and Jeff Hardy here, you have Jeff Hardy saying he's been waiting for this for a year, he thanks the creatures, etc. Austin Aries comes out, kind of puts over Hardy a little bit. He has a new belt which he spits on, and he brings out cookies and stuff. It was an entertaining segment between the two, I thought.
The new belt, again, it was Jeff Hardy all about bringing a new belt. And plus, this belt, it looked okay until Aries pointed out it's got Jeff's face on. And
well, it looked
stuff
like Jeff Hardy. I don't think it has Jeff's face on it. I think it just resembles Jeff Hardy to mock him. I think that's what it was.
Overall, okay. They're teasing a rematch, which is good. But we also got the announcement, obviously Jeff Hardy's got an opponent next Thursday. I'm not expecting a title change, but they're still giving another match to someone. Yeah,
I mean, Austin Aries is basically teasing a rematch, saying that he's going to invoke his rematch clause at any point. I also like how they're bringing up Jeff Hardy's position in the company, like the fact that they get spoon-fed and everything, and he's the top guy in the company. I like how Austin Aries is feeding that in there. It kind of feels like shoot, isn't it? Kind of a little bit. So this feud should go on till Turning Point, and then I think they should end it there, in my opinion, in a rematch.
Well, I am looking forward to a rematch, because Aries, again, even though he should be the heel, he's getting, obviously, a positive reaction. Yes. He's getting... Even his jokey character's still not gone anywhere, so I don't know where Aries is going, but I look forward to a rematch.
Essentially, Aries never really turned face and never really turned heel, because he's always been Austin Aries, the kind of tweener kind of guy who could be heel or face, really. We'll get to the next match, though. This was a kind of #1 contendership match to get into the Final Four for Hogan's choosing at Champions Thursday. It was AJ Styles versus Kurt Angle versus Christopher Daniels. You had the match itself, with these three guys, it was a decent match, about 7 minutes. I thought it would have got a little bit more time, but that's not too much of a big deal, really. Kurt Angle pushes Daniels into AJ and gets the win, and I do wonder now, Kurt Angle is part of the four, but what are they going to do with AJ Styles and Daniels? Are they going to end that feud at Turning Point? Are they going to do AJ Styles versus Kurt Angle? It's kind of, I wonder where they're going to, especially with AJ not shaking Angle's hand, I do wonder where they're going to go with AJ, Angle, and Daniels in this now.
For about a month or so, I have been thinking AJ and Angle would be a really strong feud. Yes, not putting someone over, it's just a big drawing match, which is okay. But it beats AJ and Daniels any day. So if they do go down Angle and AJ, one of them heel, one of them face, I'd pay money to see it.
I mean, to be honest with you, they've had this match a lot now, kind of similar to AJ Daniels, sort of in a way, but I guess Daniels and Kaz are going to be defending the tag belts, so AJ and Angle is going to be a match now. We've seen it a lot of times now, which is my only issue with that, I guess. We then get a backstage segment, Joey Ryan and Matt Morgan. Now, I do want to touch upon this because here are all the insider terms they were using in this one. You know, apparently you have Hogan meeting up with Morgan and Joey Ryan. Yeah.
That is correct, Daniel.
Yes. Yes, indeed. And then you have you have Hogan saying how he was always on Team Matt Morgan the whole time. And basically, it's kind of funny. You had this. This is the reason why I brought this up is because they were dropping all these like insider terms on him. And I guess I have this question. Do you out there feel that it's good for TNA to use these insider terms like, oh, I was in a creative meeting and, oh, you know, we shooted on this and da-da-da. Do you think it's wise that TNA kind of break the fourth wall to try and bring a bit more entertainment to the product? Because I'm not sure in segments like this that it is really, especially when they addressed Hogan by his first name.
Well, if you bring this on to me, asking me this, I'd say for Matt Morgan, a character who didn't really go anywhere before his disappearance, I think something like this that brings him out quite strongly against Hogan would lift up Matt Morgan from the tag team where he was in up to a lot higher stage. So in my opinion, for Matt Morgan, this certain time round after his disappearance, I'd say yes, I thought it was good for Matt Morgan to do so.
And hopefully he will be the angry Matt Morgan now, and that's the Matt Morgan we want as a heel, I think. Then we have a James Storm promo. He comes out saying that he has a bucket list, and after kicking Roode's ass at number 10, number 9 through to number 2, drink beer, number 1, win the world title, motherfucker.
That was good to hear that he's going for the title. Yes, Roode is probably going to go for it somewhere down the line, but Storm, the fact that he did not get to go for it when Roode had it because the title changed hand to Aries, Storm going back for the title would be good. Depending on who the champ is, it'll be a good match to see.
Yeah, and then you have Bobby Roode coming out saying that pretty much beating him took James Storm from there to there, and everything he got was because of him. It was, again, another nice promo segment between these two. They have, obviously, because they were former tag team partners, great chemistry in the ring. You then get James hitting the last call on Roode, and like I said, I do wonder now they've had this segment, they've had the payoff. Are they going to do another match, or I do wonder what they're going to do. Number one contendership down the line or something.
Well, after the great mic work in this segment, apart from the kiss ass thing, they said, you kiss my ass, no, I kiss your ass, all this stuff they went through, I do expect them to have another match down the line, especially when you've got all these other wrestlers pairing up against each other. It leaves them to on their own for another pay-per-view. So I'm expecting them to probably have another match, not for a grudge or anything like that, just for the sake they still hate each other.
Yeah, and it won't be as good as Bound for Glory, but it will still be another decent match, if that is the direction they're going. Question, NJ. Were you surprised that RVD wasn't on tonight's show with the new X Division Championship? It seemed like they had these little video packs. The reason I bring this up is because they had loads of video package showing all the matches from Bound for Glory. The one match they never alluded to was Zema Ion versus RVD. And the reason why I was kind of in support of RVD having the X Division Championship was because I thought he would get featured on TV. And this week he didn't, and I was a bit surprised by that.
Well, in my opinion, Rob Van Dam not getting a TV time or anything really solid on this show, I'm not surprised, because going up to this pay-per-view, there was nothing to do with X Division. And the fact that it happened last minute, right, Rob Van Dam, you're going to Ion, you're going to beat Ion there. So I think to follow up, yes, it would have made sense because it was a follow-on from the pay-per-view, but I don't think they cared that much because it was a last-minute idea for TNA. Yeah,
and the thing is, they recently had an article on their website about, all the classic X Division champions and the X Division legends. Just really surprised me when they're kind of trying to put a bit of emphasis on the X Division. They have RVD winning it, who's kind of a big name in Hulk Hogan's eyes, and it's not on TV. It just surprised me a little bit. But we'll move on to the main event segment, which we found out earlier on the night was Devon versus Sting. Devon versus Sting, does that scream out main event Impact? Do you think it should have been Bully Ray in there, or are they saving that for the pay-per-view, possibly?
Well, Devon has hinted that he wants Bully Ray. He wants to settle his differences. He wants to fix everything that was wrong and prove that he's a better man now. But I think to go against Sting,
no.
It doesn't feel right. But I know they're trying to quickly move Devon from where he used to be, which was the TNA TV title up to the main event scene when he's got the AcesAnd8s behind him, which is why I think the aftermatch, or before, how the match ended.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite funny. You see Devon as the TV champ, he leaves the company, and then all of a sudden he's in a main event on Impact. It's kind of funny now what happens, really. You get Sting, he's about to beat Devon with the Scorpion Death Drop, and then you have the AcesAnd8s storming the ring again, and you have that classic TNA roster versus AcesAnd8s brawl to end the show. Bully Ray, though, comes out very late to the party and chases the AcesAnd8s off with a baseball bat. I think they're going down the route of Bully Ray versus Devon.
Well, there's that case, but the fact that they did not pick Bully Ray to face Devon at the time, that could be the way to go. I'm still hoping Bully Ray is going to be still part of the AcesAnd8s. If not, then I guess we'll stick with Devon. But the brawl was good and all. I'm glad, because Devon was booked quite strong in this match against Sting. I will say that. And yes, I agree that Sting's not up to the place where he would be. But if it was like Sting and Roode, Sting would be booked strong against Roode. But in this match, Devon was booked strong over Sting. But the AcesAnd8s attack at the end definitely left the match ending the way it should do. And I'm expecting more build going up to the next pay-per-view.
Yes, we had another one of those brawls. Could say we've had it a couple times now, but I mean, I do wonder where they're going to go with this AcesAnd8 storyline now that Devon's in there and he's kind of like a primary member of the group. I do wonder where they're going to go with it now. And like I say, it does have me slightly interested, even though it is Devon at the helm. So.
And there's a small thing we haven't mentioned, which it happened backstage. We had a bit of Joseph Park trying to talk with Hogan stuff. So they're still using Joseph Park against the AcesAnd8s, which could still continue to lead somewhere. And the thing I noticed about the video packages was that big guy has came back. So that could be teasing Joseph Park is still a part of the AcesAnd8s.
Joseph Park is like, yeah, Hulk, I want one of the AcesAnd8s. Give me one of the AcesAnd8s. I'm like, you're a lawyer. You could just sue them. But there we go. What were your overall thoughts on this edition of Impact Wrestling this week?
Covered what it needed to from the pay-per-view. Yes. It hasn't really hyped up the next pay-per-view. It's hyped up next Thursday, which is okay. Making it a title night show, I'm kind of against that. Like I said, you had 4 possible matches already set up for the next pay-per-view. They've not really gone down that route, but this show was okay.
Yeah, I mean, that pretty much echoed my thoughts. The post-Bound for Glory show generally isn't like that great of a show because it's like we've just had the biggest pay-per-view of the year. We're going to, like, They've written for all that now. We've got to rewrite for the year ahead of us. So, in my opinion, TNA did a pretty decent job of putting out a good show. We had a nice mixture of wrestling and talking. You remember last year, we had all that freaking talking and everything. And so I'm glad that they didn't do that this year. But like you said, they put some things into place here. Next Thursday, they covered everything they needed to. It was a good follow-up show, apart from not following up on the X Division, which is a bit strange, but and Magnus, of course. But overall, it was an okay show. The Aces and Eights angle now, I am interested in it, I guess, still. So we'll see what happens with that. So I'd say it was a decent post, but definitely fucking better than last year. At least I'm not going fucking mental this time, eh? Even though I'll get you people out there would love to see me go mental, wouldn't you? Anyway, so yeah.
Alright, so please give us your thoughts. We tried to throw in some extra points to get a discussion going. Please join in with that in the comments below. And for Mr. Parkin and me, NJ, thank you very much. And until next time, YouTubers, goodbye.